Next up, our Madam Co-Founder, Kristina Skaggs. Kristina, in addition to being a new mom and a soon-to-be mom again, is a Joliet resident and a small-time blogger and a big-time reader. Some of her works can be viewed on sleeptyping.tumblr.com, and tonight she's going to read two pieces. Her first piece is called Dead Serious. Kristina.
So I mostly write fictional short stories, so this should be fun. Alright, Dead Serious. You're dead. Michael Hudson glanced up at his doctor, suspecting there had to be more than what she had just said. He needed her to elaborate. Are you sure? Yes. Dr. Michelson clicked her pen several times as if spanking a child on its bottom, and continued to script and scroll through paperwork. A bad cold is one thing, but to be dead is a different scenario. Would family and friends need to be contacted? How much paperwork would this involve? You've been dead for a while. I'm surprised you're able to make this appointment. His doctor clicked her pen once more and stabbed it into her lab coat pocket. She was too thin and firm. Her dress dipped into sternum territory, and instead of hugging feminine curves, embraced bony protrusions of her hips. He did not find charming the way her lips made lines when she went over his charts. Mostly they frowned. You should relax, Mr. Hudson. You are dead now. These things happen. The pat on the back she gave him seemed friendly, but nothing more than a pat on the back. She began to walk away, indicating the end of their appointment, but paused, and turned her head back to him as if getting one last look at the dead guy. Whatever she thought she had to say made a final attempt as her lips parted. He thought how the color of her lipstick made her look crass. Dr. Michelson closed her mouth, turned the knob on the door, and walked out, leaving Michael in nothing but a thin blue exam gown. Dead. Saying it out loud, the words were foreign out of his mouth. She seemed to swing it around like last night's panties. Here he thought she would stamp him with a sinus infection, 6 days on a Z-Pack and plenty of fluids. But no, now he was dead. Michael got dressed in the khakis and collar shirt he had arrived in. They were comfortable, but better than the gown. He looked as if he had just come from a game of golf. But maybe it could have been better to have died in a suit. He looked better with a tie on. He assumed most dead people walked around in their last worn clothes. He would be the dead guy in a polo. The receptionist at the office didn't ask him to pay his bill. The taxi driver who took him home did not ask for his fare. As far as Michael knew, being dead is a free world. At his apartment, the clothes piled up in his laundry basket did not wash or dry themselves. Death has its limits. After a lunch that he had to make himself, Michael decided to call his family and friends. They had to know about his predicament. They had to know he was dead. Hey, Dad. Michael rubbed his head raw, trying to come up with the best way to tell his parents. His father pitched him the perfect segue. Michael, how are you? Turns out I'm dead. There was silence on the other line. A pregnant pause so long, Michael thought the connection had been lost. Dad? I'm here, Michael. Your mother and I knew that you'd figure this out, one way or the other. Truth is, you've been dead for a while. This time, it was Michael's turn to be pregnant. You still there, Michael? His mother's voice lit up the phone line, and Michael knew she had a better way to explain it. Mom, how could I have been dead without knowing? Sweetie, it's been going on for quite some time now, honestly. I thought you knew. You figured it out in your junior high school dance. You took that one young girl from church, Maggie, Marcia. His mother strained to make her memory recall the girl's name. Mary, his father threw in. No. She was blonde with those cute ring curls. I always wanted a daughter so I could curl her hair like that. Mom! Michael blushed on the other line. Anyway, that's when we knew. You took Mary or Marcia or Margaret to the dance, and the entire time you wanted to hold her hand or to kiss her or whatever you never did. She sat with her group of friends, and she left with some other guy. He was dead because he hadn't touched Mary, Maggie, Marcia. Michael needed to make some more calls. The afternoon was spent dialing friends from the office, friends from college, friends from high school. His best friend Mike told him he'd been dead since the day he passed upon a promotion at work. His high school friend Mickey told him he was dead when he refused to smoke pot after gym class. There was one more number Michael needed to call. It was Michaela's number, which had been burned into his memory 3 years ago when they'd been dating. First on, now they were officially off. Michael had scrubbed his routine clean. He would ask if she remembered him. If she said yes, and he hoped she would, he would tell her that some startling news had come upon him. He was dead. That had gone so well with the others, they knew exactly what he had called about before he even had to say it. "Hello?" her chipper voice answered on the third ring. Michael stuttered. "Hello?" she asked, this time with more urgency in her voice, but still blanketed with her sweet politeness. "Michaela, this is Michael. Do you remember me?" It sounded so silly to be asking an ex-girlfriend that question. Of course she did remember, but had she wanted to forget him? "Michael," she asked, making sure the name rolled off her tongue as strangely as it rolled off his. "Yes." He paused for the impact. "I'm dead." "Dead?" she asked. "Dead," he repeated. "Well, I don't know about dead," she scoffed. A nervous laugh trickled through the phone wire. "You were very serious and uptight, but you weren't dead." Michaela went into a few stories he would have liked to forget. The time at the movies and the incident with the salty popcorn. The sock drawer he meticulously organized, the kitten heel shoes of hers he tripped over. If she didn't think he was dead after the collection of incidents leading up to their breakup, then why did everyone else think so? Michael hung up, feeling better, knowing that maybe it wasn't so bad, as long as your ex doesn't think you're dead. Just serious.